Hello, everybody. Getting my normal coffee in the morning. And I always like to say, God is good all the time. And of course, I'm starting off this Facebook Live a little bit differently. Of course, this is Muro Brothers, the 2021 candidate for governor of Virginia, right here in the flesh. Now, it's going to get ugly. I'm trying to tell you people. If you have regular guns, it's time for you to get bigger, badder, meaner, and nastier guns. Moving forward, I'm seeing this the way it is because God spoke to me last night after the primary, after I gave out the Republican roll call, which people are watching all over the place and getting fired up. That's exactly what I do. But also with getting fired up, I don't want people to get complacent. We haven't won where it matters. Right now, we have people in the big dance, and they need help getting over the finish line. And right now, I need as many quarterbacks and leaders to move the line and take the football straight in down their throat and score that touchdown. That's exactly what I need from fellow Patriots down moving forward. Now, we got a lot of rhinos all over the place. We got a lot of double agents all over the place. They're going to play the fence. They're going to attack you and be invisible. And you ain't going to know it. And it's going to be the people that are closest to them. The ones who are yelling and screaming, I'm pro-Trump. Those who are yelling and screaming, I'm pro-Republican. I'm pro-life. I'm pro-this. One thing to talk about it is another thing to be about it. That's the hugest difference. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're independent, Democrat, or Republican right now. Right now, this is the concentration camp. This is what's happening, people. And I truly believe it. Now, what I'm noticing is a dangerous trend that people are still falling for. Now, I think COVID is the political hoax, but I believe there's more to it, especially when it comes down to this political gamesmanship. Now, pay attention to this, people. Now, what in the blue hell are they releasing the most dangerous of criminals without notice to the families or the prosecutors or even the police? Walking on our streets, doing whatever with little supervision, if any. And you're telling me now that you're releasing these criminals, but where or what or how, when or why, the 5 normal things they teach you in school, in their liberal schools, you're releasing them. So who are you planning on putting in their place? And I said, you know what? I see the conspiracy, but I see the truth here. They plan on putting criminals out there to cause chaos and putting law-abiding citizens in their place. And what's going to be in their place is what they want to pick and choose to get rid of out of society. That's what's coming, people. That's why I said, if you got ordinary guns, if you have little heart, whatever you got left as fuel in the tank, the war isn't on the streets anymore. It's about to come to your front door. That's exactly what they are peddling here in Virginia and across America. Don't have the blinders on when it's happening right in front of you. When you see somebody who was locked up for 10 to 15 years, and they just got sentenced 2 years ago. They're walking right to the cells and telling them, pack up your stuff. Let's get you out of here. I said, what blue hell sense does this make? I said, this ain't even parole, people. This ain't probation. This ain't credits for good behavior. This is why I call politics and political BS at the expense of the American people using COVID to basically build concentration camps. And we got two nicer politicians. We got the ones who've been really told the big secret, because it's more to this than COVID. That's exactly how I look at it. I believe the government is hiding some stuff. And now the very people who are making it in the primaries are those who have either been a part of the swamp, are a part of the swamp, or are worse than the swamp itself. And now people are wondering some serious questions. Muro Rutledge is wondering the same exact questions, but I'm not too much to ask questions without getting the answer. So I looked at all angles here. I paid a lot of attention throughout the years. And right now, I'm seeing the apocalypse of liberal blue magic happening all across the United States. And the people who are going to be the victims in this are the people that lack knowledge of what is going on here in America and not paying attention. They are voting for the big name. They are voting for what they consider is safe. What you're considering is safe right now is the most dangerous vote that you're making right now. We had better in our primaries. We had better from all sides in the primaries. And COVID comes out, and we're seeing exactly what was being done here. They are putting in career politicians and those who have been keeping up with the government's mess and saying basically, we don't want anybody outside the establishment, outside of Washington, outside the state capitol coming in, because they may not play along in our playbook of what we are doing. See, the devil is at work here. This is beyond politics at this point. This is about what we are about to face is a war of epic consequences. The fear is real for those who never been in a battle or a war, because they got to rely now on patriots and hope that their consequences of their vote is not going to put them now in a concentration camp. And concentration camp doesn't mean like Nazi Germany. Concentration camps now, there ain't going to be evidence or history of what America, if it goes in this direction, and those who exploit it, they going to make sure, like the statues, like our history, what is going to happen in America will be erased out of society, and great Americans and great patriots are going to be cremated. That means no longer around, and they ain't going to throw you out the sea. They're going to throw you to the deep, deep depths of hell to never, ever come back. That's why it's now what we are seeing is the population control. Those who are making from Washington and the state capitol are now picking and choosing who is going to comply, who is going to obey. Because right now, we want the New World Order to have a smooth entrance into America. I'm going to tell you this. Muro Rutledge don't give a damn about the New World Order. Muro Rutledge doesn't give a damn about these politicians. Muro Rutledge just gives a damn about his country and looking at his fellow man, his fellow brother and sister, his fellow family members and countrymen, and saying, I'm going to do what's best for us to survive another day and fight this political machine that we are no longer seeing as Democrats and Republicans. We are seeing as the New World Order, where Democrats and Republicans are now attacking the American people. That's what it's boiling down to, because the leadership is weak. The leadership has already gave up from all sides to the New World Order. Because you can't explain this one to me. When I walk outside, I see somebody for 15 to 20 years supposed to be gone, and all of a sudden he's walking free. You tell me, people, it ain't making sense. A lot of y'all are saying the same exact thing, but y'all waiting for somebody to say it and go public with it. And like I told you, it doesn't matter to me. Like I said, my last days on this earth, whenever it's going to be, it's going to happen anyway. That's part of God's plan. That's why I'm telling people who are worried about, I'm trying to survive tomorrow. I ain't trying to mess with the government today and all this other stuff. You could get in a car accident right now and be gone from this world without even putting up a fight. So you might as well put up a fight right now. Like I said, the people who got in, look at AOC, had a landslide and she said the dumbest crap. Little work she has ever done. And the only thing she has talked about is a new Green Deal, which is basically tantamount to the New World Order, and basically slid in. The reason is people are scared to vote. The people are scared to meet their politician and vet them and stand in their lines honorably and support. Right now, the ones who are voting are the robots that are fixated on the hope factor, the Obama factor, the Democratic factor. And guess what? They knew by doing the lockdown and the social distancing, promoting vaccines to have you chipped, letting out dangerous criminals, making the prisons now into what I said, and pay attention to this, those are concentration camps in the making. There's a secret behind all of this that people must wake up from and start asking the necessary questions. Because people are voting for this and don't realize that's what you're doing when you're sending somebody from an establishment that's already served in D.C. or somebody who already is in D.C. or in our state capitals. The reason why they are making it through the primaries because they need somebody on the same team. You got to remember, you could be Democrat or Republican, but it's a different thing to be part of Team Swamp, Team Richmond Capital, as it is today. See, the economy is going to collapse. That's what they want. Even with the second stimulus, is a matter of time. What they ain't telling you also, and you're not seeing in the news, is those who are filing unemployment right now are going to be so desperate, crime will spike. And the very crime is going to be let back out on the streets because they are not receiving anything. There are people right now in Virginia that hasn't gotten a phone call by the millions in 4 weeks since they decided to sign up. What happens when you have no income, nowhere to go, and you're desperate? You will sign up for anything at that time period. They are creating the desperation here in America. Pay attention, people. And what they're doing is causing the starvation. Start paying attention to Revelations. If you haven't read it, this is the time to read it. There's certain things that God condemned is being accepted right now. Start paying attention to that. God didn't say it wasn't going to happen, but he said you don't agree with certain bullshit. And what we're doing is sending the very people that is against what God created. God created the heavens and the earth and everything in it. And we are desecrating, not just by our human body, we are desecrating what America, what our country, what our world has created at this time period. It's being marked with the devil. Now, like I said, this is an attack on America's freedoms and the lack of knowledge. Remember, look at the quote in the Bible about what happens based off the lack of knowledge. That's why I tell people to pay attention behind what's going on. This is deep state at work. And Muro Order has become the platform for these politicians that's out there. That's why you're seeing them not talking about certain things in this campaign that people are waiting for people to address. Pay attention to that. So now we got these type of problems. And I'm telling people right now, even for those who are trying to drain the swamp or whatever, you can't campaign all over the place because now you're so limited on the people you can meet or see. You can't get signatures, which is all the requirements that's needed. Then the governors and these politicians that should have been term limited increase the requirement to be recalled. So anytime frame somebody, be mindful of those who are asking for something that they know is impossible and using it to play. Like people saying, recall Northam, recall this, recall that. They know is no way for it to happen, and all they did was increase the requirement because they knew a time like this was happening. People knew about COVID, even if they claimed they didn't, since December of last year. Look at how the world has changed since that time period. And look at those who ain't practicing what they preach. And look at those who are making it past the primaries and those incumbents that are basically said to win their seat. That's because America is in fear at this time frame, not only to change their leadership, but be in position to make that change. The lowest turnouts in voting history has happened. That means people who would be protecting us and using that right to make sure our country has the proper and necessary leadership are scared to participate in elections where our forefathers and those before us who earned the right to vote was beat, slaughtered, and did everything to make sure we had the right to vote. They put out the sacrifice and we give up for a 2% disease. It's more to it that they ain't reporting. It's more to it that we ain't paying attention to. So when you see these career politicians and these incumbents, remember the swamp. Remember what it stands for. The New World Order was already above the swamp and had control of it for the longest kind of time. When you still see billionaires drop off of boards they've been on for years and what they are promoting. When you see the media being controlled by the elites. When you see leadership in crisis like this. And when you see everything that you know about America being attacked by the joints. It's a time to sit back on the couch, and that's why I'm not being easy on fellow Republicans, not anymore, because right now we need the strongest of leadership. Right now we got the cowards in the closet. That's been the problem. When there was a problem, what did we do? We made sure our families knew we was going to war. We got ourselves ready. They prayed for us to make it back home. But we knew we had to do what we had to do. I need for us to get back into this war. I need for us to make those sacrifices. The lieutenant governor in Texas said it best, but he may have not said it in the best way. But I understood what he meant. And a lot of time frames, Trump doesn't say things in the best way, but we understand what he meant. They're frustrated because they said we would have died before we allowed this to happen. Now we have the men in women's clothing and few men being men. We had the women in men's clothing and few women being women. We have few mothers in fathers' position. We have fathers in mothers' positions. And these single households have led by these fake examples that claim they was there to lead and be the example. That's what we have in our politicians of today. We didn't have that in the politicians of yesterday, because when they went to war and they came home, they was the ones who continued the trend of strong leadership, no matter who you are. I don't play the identity politics. I play those who know what a battle is and know exactly what the sacrifice is if they don't fight. And exactly, I'm trying to tell America, I'm trying to tell patriots, I'm trying to tell those who are about that fight is here now. You can say the playtime's open and be worried about petty moments of grandeur or what the media tries to put out there. But you'll start noticing the media ain't promoting the Patriots. That's when you have to promote the Patriots. We can't depend on a system that is designed to put us in lockdown. That's exactly what people have voted for in these primaries, the system. And didn't know, for a lack of knowledge, what the system is really doing. So you go house to house. You do your 6 feet if that makes you comfortable. But it's time to wake America up to what's going on before it's too late. And that's what I'm doing. Unapologetic, fearless. Like I said, what happens, happens. But like I said, I'm not going to live on my knees. I'm going to live on my feet, because it's a matter of duty for me and my country. It's a matter of duty for all of those who still believe in America. Because right now, it's going to be about the believers and those who have faith. To those who have lost faith and surrendered our constitutional rights. That's the example. And November is going to send a signal out there that's so loud. That's why I'm going to be all over the place, working hard, driving it home, not using soft language. I'm going to tell America the way I feel 100%. And I don't care if you find my language offensive. My country is more important. I keep telling people that. So like I said, to those who hit me up in my inboxes, you're a coward. I'm going to tell you how I feel about cowards. If you worrying about things other than what's going on here in America, you're going to get a warm welcome. And the warm welcome is going to leave you with your ass cold. Because I'm saying to you, at that point, we got more important things to do than to fight with each other. But if I have to be the one to go ahead and bring that fight directly to somebody's front door, and like I said, what happens when somebody comes to your house and being disrespectful? What happens when somebody comes into your inbox and being disrespectful? What happens when somebody comes into your life being disrespectful, being a naysayer, being dismissive, telling you what to do in your house? What would you respond? So when people come into my house, we only got two choices. You either show respect or you're going to get disrespect. It's only those two. And don't get mad at how I come at you, because I said exactly, we are worrying about the wrong stuff. Right now, we need to start paying attention to what's going on here in America and figuring out how to fix it, how to fight it back. Get on board sooner than later for all denominations and walks of life. Those concentration camps ain't meant for just Republicans. The concentration camps ain't meant for just white people. It's meant for black people. It's meant for Hispanic. It's meant for anything that the government, which is not going to be a government that we recognize. It's meant for anything the government feels is a threat to it. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, anything that is a threat that's said for people to fight back against a corrupt government is being taken away brick by brick. It's the executives with their orders doing it. It is the top levels of leadership doing it. They surrender to the New World Order. So I'd rather have a patriot that's been in wars and battles, that doesn't know anything about politics, doesn't know anything about being bought off, doesn't know anything about except for the history and knowing exactly when it's trying to repeat itself. Because America is not going to just be a China. We're going to be watching history repeat itself, well, World War III. But it's not going to be Germany. It's going to be America being a concentration camp. Do you want to depend on another country to free us like we have been doing for other countries? I want you to ask yourself that. That's why patriots like myself is running for governor of Virginia for 2021. Not worrying about the newspapers, not worrying about the media, not worrying about the swamp. I'm going to tell the swamp each and every single day of my campaign while I live and breathe and I can still walk and move around, that you can go fuck yourself on your concentration camps. That's exactly why I'm stopping right now, because I ain't going to depend on another country to free those who you lock up in them. There will be no more mandatory vaccines or chipping of people. I'm going to tell you like this. If they decide to try to chip you, I would say off the break, it's time to put a bullet in their ass and say, do you want, instead of silver or lead, how about chip or lead? And I'd rather be the one giving them lead. This is for America, people. You start telling your neighbors and you tell your friends that Muro Rutledge is in this race. You tell your local newspapers and you tell all those people who put the word out. You telling him Muro Rutledge is standing against these concentration camps. And he ain't apologizing and he ain't bowing down. He's not giving out white flags of surrender. He's not begging. He's not asking. And you tell them the Rutledge train is coming and it's coming full steam. It's about mega 2020, but it ain't going to be Democrats 2020. Not in my blood. Not in my country. Not in any kind of way going down. That's for the others to do. And like I said, Olga, you said it perfectly with the voters fraud. This is the voters fraud. Because right now, even if you're going for an election right now, I can see voters fraud all day. Anybody could get a paper ballot and you send a bunch of paper ballots to a bunch of people who you know is going to sacrifice the vote. And all you got to do is send it in a scanner. Who's paying attention? I saw that in Virginia Beach. So as I bring 3 pieces of ballots, nobody's saying what my name is on that ballot, I go ahead and color it in. I could have 3 votes off of my 1 vote, as long as I keep feeding it through a scanner while people ain't paying attention. I'm trying to tell you people, it's about our lives on the line. And like I said, you can choose a concentration camp by sitting on the couch. Muro Rutledge is going to choose freedom. And it doesn't matter whether I have to give my life. It's about God, country, and family first. This is Muro Brothers running for 2021 Governor of Virginia, and I'm signing out. This is the concentration camp speech. Roll call.